Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee listed internally for WrestleMania. Plus, another WrestleMania match could be announced tonight. And an AEW star is making their AAA debut. It's all in the wrestling news right now. First things first, who's new set? Who dis?
Oh, this is stupendous.
It's stupendous, almost as stupendous as WrestleMania this year will be, Ross.
Funny you mention WrestleMania, Tom, because the first news story comes from that there WrestleMania 38 and an internal list inside of WWE's belly.
It does indeed. So this was something that you and Sam talked about on Saturday. We can add a little bit more meat to this proverbial bone this morning. Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee, according to Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer, is listed as a match on the internal schedule for WrestleMania. So there was some conversations that started from post-wrestling over the weekend when it was confirmed that Vince McMahon will be a guest on the Pat McAfee show on Thursday. And this led to some discussion about Vince versus Pat. It's apparently a match that's going down.
I want to see it with all my being. I want to see inside that stadium with 100,000 fans surrounding the ring. I want to see Vince McMahon trying to hit a 450 off the top rope to Pat McAfee. Pat reversing that 450 into a Stone Cold Stunner. Stone Cold coming down to the ring and hitting Pat McAfee with a Stone Cold Stunner. What?
Well,
I want to see it all, Tom.
Whether you will or not is a different matter, because Dave goes on in the Wrestling Observer to say regarding the Vince versus Pat match at Mania, the match was confirmed to be on the books of the lineup, so when McMahon goes on McAfee's show, it's an angle to build up the match. Vince is 76 years old, and while he'll be advertised for a match, we are told it will be complete smoke and mirrors event. As noted many times, they have more than 20,000 tickets unsold for both nights, so things like McMahon, Steve Austin, and anything they can roll out with people with name value will be pushed. A complete smoke and mirrors event.
Firefly Fun House. Pat versus Vince.
Oh, do not threaten me with a good time.
To be fair, if we get that sort of vibe, but in Vince McMahon's actual mansion with the painting of Vince, get that painting up there, editor. Yeah, you know that painting. It's all the fun to be had, isn't there?
That'd be amazing.
It won't be as good as a live match with Vince McMahon, where he'll break his hip.
I feel like Vince is the sort of guy that, you know what, probably wants to go, you know what, I want WrestleMania, I'm 76, break my hip at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
he might just be up for just doing everything.
He'll do it all for you fans.
He really will.
I reckon surely just logic dictates. I said the same on Saturday. Surely this is Vince McMahon setting up an angle with Pat on the podcast for Austin Theory to get involved and Austin Theory to have a big singles match against Pat at WrestleMania. A star-making victory maybe for Austin Theory.
So you think Vince getting subbed out? Do you think that people would feel a bit cheated if we get Vince versus... completely.
After we've learned this, completely cheated.
Pat McAfee has reacted to the Vince versus Pat chat on Twitter, saying, "You lot seem to know a lot about what I'm up to more than me." Now, what's funny is, obviously, Pat has a certain tone, a certain drawl, a certain slang, with certain parlance that he uses on SmackDown. The problem is when you read it in a British accent, it sounds like a Cockney.
Cockney, yeah.
You know, you all seem to know a lot about what I'm up to more than me. I'm excited to see what happens at this point. WrestleMania chatter is wild right now. Just a reminder, if you think I'm going to be a part of something that isn't a banger, you're out of your damn mind.
Which is reassuring, because so far as part of his WWE career, his commentary role has been better than most commentators before him in this modern era, so to speak. I think Pat's fantastic on commentary. The match against Adam Cole and the whole angle with the kick and all that malarkey, that was good as well. So far, the stuff he has been involved in hasn't been crap, which is nice to see.
And Vince McMahon has an interesting track record when it comes to WrestleMania matches. Versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 17 was an absolute stunner.
5 stars. 5 stars.
Amazing match. The Linda Pop was born that night. He had a match against Hogan at WrestleMania 19. Vince versus Hulk Hogan, which had that shot of Vince appearing over the ring apron covered in the claret. He had a match against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 22. And that thing against Bret Hart at WrestleMania 26. Vince being 76 years old, I think what we're going to see may more resemble the Bret Hart match than the Shane McMahon match, I do believe.
Now, I'm glad to hear that, Tom, because that match against Bret Hart at WrestleMania 26, it didn't last long enough.
So he can continue the fun.
Yeah.
More on this as we get it. Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee on the internal schedule and set to be a complete smoke and mirrors event. Whoa, wait a minute. Smoke and mirrors?
What does that mean?
Whoa!
What are you singing for? Bon Jovi?
Yeah, Bon Jovi's
Living
doing
on a
run in. Sticking with the Mania, tonight on Raw, it looks as if we're getting another WrestleMania match in the books, aren't we?
It does. Edge is all set for Monday Night Raw, and it looks like he could be setting up a match for WrestleMania on tonight's show. No word yet as to who this will be, according to that there cage side seats. But last week, of course, he cut that promo where he mentioned there being a demon inside of you, and something about phenomenal and live forever. So he's dropping all these hints as to who it could be. So maybe tonight we'll get one less hint. Then next week we'll get one less hint again. Then the week after we might find out.
I reckon they'll just announce it tonight and just get the ball rolling.
Why not?
You
might as well.
Yeah, you might as well do. There's a few people it could be. I just thought you need an opponent for WrestleMania.
Vince McMahon.
Whoa! Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi's back again.
Bon Jovi back again. Do you know why Big E and Kofi rode an ATV to the ring on SmackDown?
Now, Tom, in my mind, I was hoping it was some sort of Stone Cold Steve Austin reference, and starting from that point on SmackDown and on Raw, would see little Stone Cold Steve Austin references dropped into WWE shows from here on out until WrestleMania, but that's not true, is it?
It's not. The ATV, according to Fightful, was featured to promote a brand new toy deal with WWE and Mattel.
What toy is it, Tom?
It's the WWE Wreckin' Slam and Spin ATV,
Cool.
available now from all good toy stores.
Radical.
I like it when WWE and cars mix together. Then we get Crush Hour on the PlayStation 2. If it doesn't come with Twisty Rockets, I'll be very upset. Finalama, one of our faves, is making their AAA debut from AEW. We are, of course, talking about Ty Conti. Ty Conti. She's rocking up in AAA on the 26th of March in Tijuana, Mexico.
The graveyards of Tijuana?
Graveyards of Tijuana. Hopefully nowhere near the graveyards. Now, this comes from some speculation that Conti and Sammy Guevara could be getting in the mix with a particular championship in AAA. They've tweeted that they want a piece of the AAA mixed tag titles. I think it would make sense to give them the AAA mixed tag titles.
It would make a lot of sense because of all the professional wrestling couples in the world today, until tonight when we see Corey and Carmella's debut on the YouTube, I can't wait to see them shagging.
I can.
Can you believe, Tom, that this couple who are engaged, they have the intercourse a lot?
Unlikely.
Scandalous. But apart from Corey and Carmella, Ty and Sammy are just about the most out there couple, aren't they? Just about on social media. They're always going about how they're in love and stuff.
They very much are, and I'd like a documentary on them. More so than Corey and Carmella, just because I feel like their relationship's more wholesome. I don't know whether Corey and Carmella are just rutting all the time.
I feel like I should say
their gag.
That was me being sarcastic because the trailer dropped last week and they gave off the impression that all wrestling fans are virgins in that trailer, and we would be shocked by how much this engaged couple would do the intercourse. Do you do the intercourse with your good lady?
Sometimes.
Really?
Sometimes.
I do it, yeah.
Sometimes we have a little kiss.
Yeah, sometimes we do that.
Sometimes when we touch, it almost means too much. Let us know if you have a kiss with your significant other in the comments below. More news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe.
Living on a prayer.